This is 2B2T. For over a decade, it was known as the Anarchy Server. It is the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft history and has racked up hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of views across thousands of videos talking about it. It has an incredibly deep level of history spanning more than 15 years, with countless wars, legends, and stories that have helped shape Minecraft itself. Despite all this, in the past few years, the server has seen a noticeable decline in activity for a number of reasons. And because of that, one server has arguably become better than 2B2T. Also, if you enjoy this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so YouTube can finally pay for my priority queue subscription, although no pressure. 2B2T is one of the most legendary servers in all of Minecraft, but it wasn't always like that. All the way back in late 2010, it was created by Housemaster. Originating from a Gary's Mod server, 2B2T quickly gained a reputation on 4chan and was advertised by both House and his accomplice George Bush 420 almost immediately after it was released to the public. 2B2T quickly became famous for being the first true Anarchy server in Minecraft. With no map resets throughout its history and virtually no rules, it offered something that no other server could at the time. As the years went on, it became increasingly well known throughout the Minecraft community. During the pre-2016 era, legends such as PopBob and iTristan became notorious and gave the server a level of mystique that no other Minecraft server had. Much of this period also remains poorly documented, which only added to the mystery surrounding the server. However, everything changed in 2016. A YouTuber by the name of The Camping Rusher uploaded a simple Let's Play on 2B2T, but it quickly exploded, gaining hundreds of thousands and eventually millions of views. From that point on, 2B2T transformed from a niche server into a mainstream part of Minecraft culture. Alongside creators such as FitMC and SalC1 documenting the server's wars, history, and legends, 2B2T became recognized throughout not only the Minecraft community, but gaming in general, as one of the most unique and infamous servers ever created. 2B2T was always known as the peak of Anarchy, but one thing made it extremely controversial across the entire playbase: the infamous queue. When it was first introduced in 2016, it was a very difficult system to work around, with wait times reaching as long as 2 full days during the peak of Rush's popularity. For many players, simply joining the server became a challenge in itself. As the years went on, the queue slowly became more bearable as fewer people played the server. However, this eventually created a completely different problem. You see, the modern queue is divided into 2 sections: priority queue and basic queue. Since fewer players were purchasing priority queue, Housemaster still needed enough revenue to keep one of Minecraft's largest servers running. As a result, the number of basic queue slots was reduced from 100 players to only 75. Ironically, this meant that even though fewer people were trying to join the server than in previous years, the wait time for basic queue could still stretch to 1 or even 2 days. This raised a serious question for many players. Was it actually worth playing anymore? After finally waiting days just to join the server, basic queue players are automatically kicked after only 8 hours of playtime, forcing them to wait through the entire queue again. For many people, this was simply too much. Some stopped playing entirely, while others accepted the monthly $20 price tag for priority queue just to make the game playable. The second issue that caused 2B2T to lose some of its legendary essence was the increasing amount of censorship introduced over the last few years. The entire point of Anarchy is freedom, the freedom to do almost anything you like. However, after Mojang updated its EULA in 2025 to enforce stricter rules against servers allowing hate speech and other harmful content, 2B2T, now being one of Minecraft's most well-known servers, was forced to comply. This resulted in heavy restrictions being added to chat and science. 2B2T has also always prided itself on having little to no admin intervention. For many years, that was almost entirely true. Recently though, players have received mutes for excessive spam, advertising, and other chat-related offences. Compared to the completely unrestricted image that 2B2T built its reputation on, these changes have been controversial. The effects are noticeable as well. If you log onto the server today, chat moves far more slowly than it once did. making the community feel much quieter than during its peak years. On the other hand, we have Constantiam. The server began in early 2016 as an alternative to 2b2t without many of the administration decisions and controversial changes that players disliked. Although it is 5 years younger than 2b2t, its community and history have gone a long way toward making up for its age. The server currently averages around 50 to 60 players online at any given time. While that may seem much lower than 2b2t, it's worth remembering that a significant number of players on 2b2t is simply AFK bots occupying player slots. Because of this, Constantiam often feels considerably more active than the raw player numbers would suggest. When it comes to the queue, there really isn't much of a comparison. On 2b2t, players can wait anywhere from 1 to 2 days just to join. On Constantiam, you simply click join and you're in. There are no paid advantages, no priority queue, and no monthly subscription. Everyone joins the exact same way. The concerns about 2b2t becoming less anarchy also aren't nearly as relevant on Constantiam. Since it remains a much smaller and more niche community, many of the restrictions affecting 2b2t simply don't apply in the same way. Now that 2b2t has gone through 10 incursions and hundreds of wars across the server's history, its community has become much more fragmented. Smaller isolated groups, combined with the large number of bots occupying player slots, cause chat to move far more slowly than both Constantiam and old 2b2t. Constantiam's community is much smaller, but because of that, it's also much easier to meet new people. As someone who is relatively new to Constantiam myself, I found it surprisingly easy to meet players who actively contribute to the server and have become important members of the community. 2b2t's community used to feel much more connected. During its peak, everyone seemed to know about the same wars, the same players, and the same events. Today, although the community is still very active, it feels far more separated, making it much harder for new players to become involved or make a lasting impact. I think this is one area where 2b2t still has a slight edge. Although Constantiam's history is very interesting and unique, 2b2t simply has far more documented wars, incursions, bases, and legendary moments. There are documentaries covering the history of 2b2t that last multiple hours, something very few Minecraft servers can claim. However, if your goal is actually becoming a part of a server's history rather than simply watching it, Constantiam arguably has the advantage. Major events still happen, new groups continue to form, and because the community is smaller, it's much easier for an individual player to leave their mark. On 2b2t, history is still being made, but with fewer server-wide events and far less documentation than in previous years. Becoming part of that history has become much more difficult. So if you want to experience the past, 2b2t is probably the better choice. But if you want to help create the future, Constantiam might actually have the advantage. Overall, both servers have their own strengths and weaknesses. In my opinion, Constantiam currently offers the better overall gameplay experience, thanks to its community, instant access, and stronger sense of freedom. That being said, many people would still argue that 2b2t is the superior server simply because of what it represents. It's the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft history. It has 15 years of legendary stories behind it, and a level of mystique that Constantiam simply hasn't had enough time to build. So, has Constantiam actually become the better Anarchy server? I think so. But whether you value history or gameplay more will probably determine your own answer.